You didn't choose that role. You inherited it. You think it's just your personality, that you're the calm one, the quiet one, the easy-to-deal-with one. But what if it's not you? What if it's a role you inherited, not chosen, not built, just absorbed, handed down like a script? You didn't write, but still learned by heart. They didn't say it directly. They didn't have to. They trained you with silence, with glances, with unspoken expectations. That said, don't take too much space. Don't ask for more. Don't outshine. Just behave. And so you did. You stayed small. You made yourself useful. You became the one they never had to worry about. And somewhere along the way, you started believing that was who you are. But it's not. It's a role, a survival identity, a mask passed down from those who wore one before you. This video is about that mask, the inherited role. That kept you small so they could stay comfortable. And what happens when you take it off for good? Bloodline role reversal initiated. Part 1. The Bloodline Script: How roles are passed down. Families are systems, unspoken, unquestioned, programmed to maintain balance, even if it's toxic. And to keep that system running, everyone is assigned a role. The one who sacrifices, the one who fails, the one who performs, the one who fixes, the one who stays invisible. It's not random, it's strategic. The system doesn't ask, "Who are you?" It asks, "What's missing?" And whatever role is unfilled, you become it. You didn't audition, you didn't agree. You just felt it. Subtle cues, silent expectations, behavior that got rewarded, energy that got punished. You got love. When you made them comfortable, you got ignored. When you expressed something bigger than the role allowed. So you learned fast. And over time, the system didn't need to control you. You started controlling yourself. You made yourself smaller to keep the peace. You avoided truth to maintain the image. You held back potential to not disrupt the dynamic. And they called you mature, respectful, grounded, but really, you were just playing your part perfectly. This is the Bloodline Script. You weren't the first to follow it. You won't be the last unless you stop, unless you pause long enough to ask, what role have I been unconsciously playing? And who benefits from me staying there? Because once you see the role, you can walk off stage. Part 2, signs you're still playing the inherited role. You don't need chains to be controlled. Sometimes all it takes is a silent contract. You never signed, but still obey. And the proof is in your behavior. You feel guilty for wanting more. More freedom, more truth, more visibility. But every time you reach for it, something inside you pulls back. Don't be ungrateful. You're already lucky. Don't cause trouble. That's not humility. That's inherited guilt, built to keep you small, so they stay comfortable. You shrink in rooms where you could expand. You know you're capable. You know you have presence. But something in you says, not here, not in front of them. Not yet. And so you dim your voice, your energy, your truth, not because you're weak, but because your role doesn't allow you to shine. You overfunction for people who underfunction. You're the fixer, the dependable one, the one who holds it together, even when it breaks you. Because you were taught, if you stop holding it up, everything falls apart. So you keep playing strong, not because you want to, but because the system needs you to. And that's not strength. That's obligation wrapped in performance. You feel responsible for other people's comfort. You sense discomfort. You adapt. You sense disapproval. You explain. You sense expectation. You meet it, even when it costs you. Because your role is to keep the peace. But peace that depends on your silence isn't peace. It's submission. These aren't random habits. They're symptoms of a role you didn't choose, but mastered. And the longer you stay in it, the more they'll believe. That's just who you are. Until one day, you stop playing, and everything shifts. Part 3. Why that role was designed to keep you small. You weren't just given a role, you were shaped into it, not to help you grow, but to make sure you didn't outgrow them, because if you got too confident, too clear, too honest, you'd start questioning things that were never meant to be questioned. You'd start seeing cracks in the story. You'd notice who benefits from your silence, who stays emotionally safe when you stay emotionally stuck. And the system can't afford that. Your role was designed to maintain emotional balance. That serves one thing: control. If you become too visible, you disrupt the hierarchy. If you become too vocal, you challenge the narrative. If you stop people-pleasing, you start exposing manipulation. So the system taught you, subtly, repeatedly, play small, stay safe, be good, don't make waves. And you listened, not because you were weak, but because that was the price of belonging. Shrink, and you're accepted. Speak up, and you're punished. So you adapted. You made yourself palatable, predictable, powerless, not because you wanted to, but because the system punishes size. You didn't create this design, but you've been upholding it. And the moment you step outside that role, they'll feel it, because your expansion exposes their limitation. And that's why you were trained to never grow past the script, not for your safety, but for theirs. Part 4. How to break the inherited role. You can't outgrow a role if you don't know you're playing it. And once you see it, you don't argue with it. You don't negotiate. You break it. Here's how. 1. Call the role by its real name. Before you can leave it, you have to name it. Are you the peacekeeper, the fixer, the golden child, the one who never complains, the one who always holds it together? Say it out loud, not with shame, with clarity, because what you can name, you can dismantle. 2. Trace the lineage. Where did this role come from? Who played it before you? Who needed you to take it on? Was it your mother's role, your father's failure, an older sibling's absence? Most roles in a bloodline aren't created, they're recycled. And once you trace the code, you'll see it was never yours to carry. 3. Spot the activation triggers. Watch for the moment. You shrink. You overfunction. You go silent. It's not random. It's programming. They raise their voice. You soften yours. They project guilt. You step in to absorb it. They withdraw love. You perform harder. Catch the loop. Interrupt the reflex. Breathe instead of obeying. 4. Do what the role would never do. This is where the break happens. If the role says, don't speak, you speak. If it says, be agreeable, you disagree. If it says, be invisible, you take space, not to provoke, but to disrupt, because every action you take, that violates the inherited role, frees a piece of you that was trapped inside it. 5. Don't explain the shift. They'll feel it. They'll question it. They'll try to pull you back. You don't owe them a reason for finally becoming yourself. Let the discomfort rise. Let them adjust, because your job isn't to smooth the transition. It's to end the performance. You weren't born to play a role. You were born to remember who you were before the role was assigned. Part 5. Training Identity Disruption. Voiceover optimized, cold, tactical, liberating. Breaking the role isn't a one-time act. It's a system reset. Because your nervous system was trained to flinch, to please, to obey. So now, you train it to reject the role. Step 1. Disobey the emotional reflex. When the guilt rises, pause. When the urge to explain shows up, hold. When the system expects you to step in, step back. Don't act on feeling, act on clarity. Because the role lives in your first reaction, and freedom begins with your second decision. Step 2. Disrupt the script in public. In a room where you'd normally stay quiet, speak. In a moment where you'd agree to keep peace, pause, then say, I don't see it that way. Don't over-explain, don't justify, don't soften your shift. You're not performing anymore. You're positioning. Let them feel the new tone without asking them to like it. Step 3. Practice space expansion. You've been trained to take up less space, physically, emotionally, energetically. Now dash. You reverse it. Stand tall, hold eye contact, pause longer. Let your presence settle in the room. Without flinching, you're not invading, you're reclaiming. Step 4. Reject the apology loop. They'll bait you. You've changed. You used to be so easygoing. What's gotten into you? That's not an invitation to explain. That's a test. And your answer is silence or a clean, I stopped playing roles that weren't mine. Say it once. Let it land. Move on. Step 5. Anchor the new identity with repetition. Every time you break the role, without guilt, you build new muscle. Every time you stay silent, when pressured to fix, you harden your sovereignty. This isn't rebellion. This is realignment. You're not breaking the family. You're breaking the illusion that playing small was love. Identity disruption isn't about becoming someone else. It's about returning to who you were before the script was installed. Part 6. Conclusion. You were programmed to stay small so they could stay comfortable. You weren't born to stay quiet, to shrink, to soften every truth before speaking it. You were trained that way, trained to suppress, to adapt, to fit inside a mold. That served their stability, not your growth, because your expansion would have exposed their fear. Your truth would have threatened their illusion. Your voice would have disrupted the system. So they gave you a role, wrapped it in praise, labeled it mature, good, selfless. But it wasn't love. It was containment. And the more you lived inside that role, the more you lost contact with your real self. Not because you forgot, but because you were never allowed to meet that version. Until now. You're not difficult, you're not broken, you're not ungrateful. For stepping out, you're done being programmable, done playing small, to protect people who only loved you when you were easy to manage, done shrinking, so others could avoid their own discomfort. From this point forward, you don't ask for permission to outgrow their expectations. You don't apologize for not fitting the role. You don't pause when they look confused. By your new tone, you keep walking, keep speaking, keep expanding, because the system never saw you, only the version they could keep. And now, that version is gone. Final CTA. For the next 72 hours, observe where you shrink, where you self-edit, where you still play the part they handed you. Then stop, without warning, without apology. Because the moment you walk off their stage, you stop being who they need and start becoming who you are. Role erasure complete.